This video is to assist you with your one-point perspective worksheet. To review, one-point perspective is a technique we use to make objects look like they are going further away in space. It's great for drawing cityscapes, interiors, or for our purposes today, it can be used simply to create forms in a space. Let's get started. First, I'm going to write my name at the top of the paper. There isn't actually a designated space for this on this worksheet, so it's going to be almost impossible. Just do your best. For this type of linear perspective, the front plane of an object needs to be directly in front of you, and that plane must be parallel to the horizon line. That's why these shapes here are facing us directly. We're going to use this vanishing point, which is situated here on the horizon line, and orthogonal lines to create 3D forms. As I said earlier, the front plane of our objects will be parallel to the horizon line. That just means that this plane, which is a flat surface, is facing us directly, and the lines that define the tops and bottoms of those planes are going to be parallel to our horizon line. The side planes are going to be distorted by distance, which is where our orthogonal lines come into play. And really, this is where the magic of one-point perspective happens. To do this, I'm going to connect an orthogonal line to every corner of my shape. I'm even connecting them to this far corner to start. Once you become more familiar with the concept, you'll get a better understanding of where your orthogonal lines will need to go. So I'm going to connect these lines to my corners as lightly as possible because most of this is going to end up getting erased. The next thing I need to do is figure out which sides of this object I'll be able to see. From this angle, I would only be able to see the right side and the top of this cube. So this line that I drew to my far corner won't be necessary because it's defining a corner of the cube that I won't be able to see. So I'm going to go ahead and erase that now. Finally, to complete my cube, I'm going to define the back edge. Here you have a bit of freedom. You can make it as short or as long as you want. The only real rule is that each line you draw between your orthogonal lines must be parallel to the edge it is attached to. That just means that whatever line I draw in here needs to be parallel to this line. I'll put my first line right here. It doesn't have to be perfect for the purposes of this exercise, but I want it to be as close to parallel as I can get it. Now I'm going to treat the side the same way. I just want to make sure that the line defining the side of the cube lines up with the line defining the back of the cube. Then, to finish this form, I'm going to erase the orthogonal lines that are sitting outside of the cube. Now I'm going to continue this for the rest of the cubes. I'll treat each one exactly the same, but pay attention to the relationship that forms have with the horizon line and with the vanishing point. Each form above the horizon line will have its bottom side visible, and each form below the horizon line will have its top side visible. If the form is on the horizon line, you won't be able to see the top or the bottom. For these irregular forms, it's pretty much the same process. For the star and the arrow, I'm going to still connect a line to every corner. I just need to make sure that I connect to both the inside and outside corners. Then, I'm going to make my parallel lines. Notice that I'm erasing my orthogonal lines after I complete each shape. Try to resist the urge to do all of the orthogonal lines at the same time. If you do, your paper will become filled with lines very quickly, and it will be difficult for you to keep track of which lines you need to keep versus which lines you should erase. For the cylinder, I will connect orthogonal lines to the top and bottom of this circle. To define the back edge of this, I'm just going to draw a curved line mimicking the shape of the circle at the other end of the cylinder. Finally, I'm going to add value. Your light source is totally up to you. Just make sure that you indicate it with an arrow so I know where it should be coming from. This won't take too long. Just make sure you're giving it the effort that it needs and keep it neat. And that's it.